Hi, my name is Peter Willington and I'm a Commonwealth-Registered married celebrant. I'm coming to you today on the YouTubes from the courtyard of my townhouse in Nunda. And this is Peter Willington Weddings Talks Addendum to Really Frequently Asked or Easy to Answer Questions, Volume 1. So a little while ago I filmed the first edition of Really Frequently Asked or Easy to Answer Questions. Hasn't yet gone public, but when you do watch the video you may realise in the middle of the second video, along with forgetting to actually update the sign, I had a bit of an awkward pause. The reason for this pause is that I looked at the question and I decided that on the spot that I wasn't going to answer it in that video. That decision was taken for a range of reasons. One, in the interest of time, because it's a question that if I was to answer it in the long form like I am today, I mean, this is going to be a 10-minute video in itself. I just didn't have time in that format. But also, you know, I'm at the time I was really on the fence about whether or not I wanted to address this at all. And, you know, do I actually want to be part of a conversation about this? Is this conversation still relevant? Should this conversation even be happening anymore? You know, to date, my response is sort of give a one-sentence answer to it. But I was chatting to Shell about it, and she was the one that collated the question, so, you know, I'd just give you the answer as I thought about it as I was reading it. But, you know, she told me that this was, in fact, the most submitted question when I reached out on social media for questions. Look, honestly, I think part of this is due to the timing of the request. It was in the middle of December, which was smack bang in the middle of when all of this was going down. But, you know, I decided this morning after having that conversation with Shell that, you know, I should, in fact, answer this question in an addendum. And, you know, I'm going to go into a little bit of detail just to articulate it really clearly. You know, that's because, you know, I'm hoping this is the last time that I ever talk about this. In fact, you know, I'll refer people to this video if I ever get asked this question again. So yeah, today you're going to get a twofer for Peter Willington Weddings Talks videos, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. So the question that I ignored is, as you can probably guess, do you do same-sex weddings? The short answer is I do weddings. While that is an answer, it doesn't really address the question. So I was thinking just this morning as I was setting up for the video I'm going to film after this one, and, you know, I've had a bit of a think about what I wanted to take as my stance on the topic, and this, you know, I have articulated these thoughts before in blog posts that I haven't published, where, you know, I've gone into differing lengths of detail. So this is probably more towards the more complete detail version than the short answer. So, so my position, just to state it clearly once and for all, is that assuming it's legal to marry you and your fiance under the laws of the day, you know, I do not care what your sexuality is. I don't care what gender you identify as. I don't care where you were born or what your heritage is. Nothing about your political views or your religious views, or just any other position or belief that you hold. All I care about when I'm making the decision about whether or not, you know, I think I should offer to be your celebrant, is, you know, this one question I ask myself as I'm about to press send on the email with the sort of engagement letter, is that for your whole experience, so not just the wedding day, but, you know, from today when I send you this engagement letter through to when I'm helping you get a copy of your official marriage certificate, and later on when we touch base over the years, you know, will I make that a better experience for that couple than any other celebrant could? And that's the only thing that I consider in terms of me making a decision about whether or not I will offer to be your celebrant. And if the answer to that question is no, I will absolutely explain to you why this is the case. Now, look, don't get me wrong, in 99% of cases, you know, if we've met and we've clicked to the point that you've asked me to send you an engagement letter, you know, the answer will be yes. But, you know, like I said, I will explain the rationale to you. But in general, it's because I've made a commitment to have a you know, really high standard of integrity in my business. And, you know, part of that is a commitment that if I think another celebrant is better for you. I'll check if they're available first. But you know, if I'm not 100% sure that I'm the right celebrant for you, I will refer you to another celebrant that I think is more suited to you. And that's really just to ensure that you have the best experience possible. So that's just sort of what I wanted to address in terms of when couples ask me to be their celebrant. That's the only thing that I think about. But specifically back to same-sex marriage, you know, I wanted to address a couple of other things. And you know, I've talked in the past about a range of topics, but there's sort of two that I really want to address here. The first is a bit of an admission and an apology. When the law was changed in the middle of December, collectively, the wedding industry lost its shit. In fact, I think in general our response was all in all pretty poor, and for that I apologise. Having said that, all of us had our hearts in the right place, and it was all very well intentioned. I don't think that many of the people out there were just, you know, seeing dollar signs, but I do understand how it could have looked like that and how offence could have been taken. So if you are a person that was offended by that sort of behaviour, I apologise for my participation in it. I do like to tell myself, and you know, at the time I was telling myself that I wasn't losing my mind. I was certainly using the rhetoric that I wasn't going crazy about it. But a little bit later in the process, you know, a week or two into it, you know, I got caught up in it, as did everybody else, and I started going mental about it. I rationalised to myself that I was doing it in a way that had more integrity than others. And you know, this is because, you know, my view was I was going to jump in and do it and be the person that did it well and with integrity, because, you know, somebody was going to do it, and my concern was that somebody was going to do it badly. So at the end of the day, I'm a bit disappointed with myself, but I will freely admit that I went too crazy in the first few weeks, and like I said, I am sorry. I even tried to set up a coordinated national event, and you know, we got really excited about it for a few days, but in hindsight, I'm glad that cooler heads prevailed and we stopped and thought about it and decided to pull the pin. You know, while we did have a very long time to prepare for same-sex marriage, or marriage equality rather, because, you know, we all saw it coming for years and years and years. The writing was on the wall, certainly, for years and years and years. I think a lot of us were sort of taken aback at how quickly it went from survey to being adopted into law. I don't think any of us expected that to happen, and we frankly were, most of us, I think, caught a little bit unaware and unprepared. So again, for that, I apologise. What I am happy of what has happened, and I think it's worked out relatively well, is that, you know, a couple of influential people from the LGBTIQ+ community, as well as feedback in general from inquiry, you know, these unofficial spokespeople, I guess, came out and effectively said, everybody, cool your jets. Look, some of us do want to get married next month, but we'll come to you. But in general, we care about our wedding and we want to plan a wedding over time, just like any other couple. We're not just going to pick the first and loudest person in the industry. We're not interested in getting special discounts or free packages or anything like that. Just treat us like every other couple. And, you know, I think that was a really wonderful thing for those people to come out and say, and I congratulate the community, and particularly those unofficial and official spokespeople, I guess, for really prevailing with cooler heads and, you know, handling that with dignity and class. So, you know, when I sort of cottoned on to that, you know, I pulled my head in, and, you know, from there I've decided to make another commitment about the integrity of my business, and, you know, that is that I won't discriminate against anybody, but that also means positive discrimination. In short, I will treat everybody with equality, and, you know, this is what the campaign was about, really. So if you want to get married and you think that I'm the best celebrant for you, and I think that I'm the best celebrant for you, you know, I'd really love to be involved in your wedding ceremony. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about, there's a reason I use the word discriminate there, and, you know, this is really the main point I wanted to cover, and I'll wrap up after this. I'm aware that this video's gone on for a fair while. Is that the law, you know, sneaking in under the guise of religious freedom, but I'll hold my tongue on that topic. A separate category of celebrants was created so that some celebrants could discriminate against couples in line with their religious beliefs. Sorry, that is a bit emotive language, but I do feel strongly on the topic. This separate category, I guess, is only open to existing celebrants that were registered before the change in the law, and there's a 3-month window for them to register with the Attorney General's Department, I think it is, and so that ends in February. So it'll all be locked in by then. But I really wanted to take a moment to point this out to you because in separating them out into a different category effectively so that they could decline to participate in ceremonies that go against their religious beliefs, you know, the government actually ensured that it was a bit of a two-edged sword. And so I wanted to point out to you that these celebrants must advertise and identify themselves as religious celebrants rather than authorised marriage celebrants. There is exact wording, which has caused a little bit of confusion in the sort of non-religious celebrant community. But the key point I wanted to get across there is they have to call themselves religious marriage celebrants if they want to be able to decline their services to couples for marriages that go against their religious beliefs. Now, look, I'm not going to say anything explicitly about a position about this or, you know, insinuate anything. I just want to ensure that you are aware that there is a difference, and it's in title, and it's based on this one issue. So from now on, you don't need to ask any celebrant you talk to if they're willing to do same-sex weddings, because the answer is in their title. Whether they call themselves a religious marriage celebrant or an authorised marriage celebrant or civil marriage celebrant. Anyway, I just sort of wanted to throw that out there, and, you know, I'll let you decide what you do with that information. So anyway, with that, hopefully I've put this topic to bed for good, and as always, if you haven't yet decided on a celebrant, I'd really love to be considered, or if you have any questions or topics that you'd like to see me cover in a future video, let me know either in the comment section below, or get in touch through any of my social media platforms, or make an inquiry on my website. Also, if you did like this video, please go and check out the rest of the videos in the really frequently asked or easy to answer questions series, as well as the broader Peter Willington Weddings Talks videos, and I'd really love it if you could subscribe to the channel and like and comment. So with that, I'll say goodbye for now. So have a great day, and I'm looking forward to chatting all things weddings with you again soon.